How are you? Welcome to my kitchen. I'm glad you could be with me again today. Today I want to do some chicken dishes for you, and they're called fancy chicken dishes. What makes a dish fancy? Well, just a little bit of extra care and a little bit of careful cooking. Though I will admit that yesterday in the supermarket, a woman came running up to me and she said, "I know who you are. You're the Frugal Gourmet. Good Lord, you're sloppy." I didn't quite know what to say to her. The real issue is not what your kitchen looks like when you're finished, but what the plate looks like when you finally put it in front of your guests. So I'm going to suggest some good chicken dishes. And first of all, I think we should talk about the old chicken. You know who invented the chicken? Maybe the word invention isn't proper, but the first time that we see chickens in history was about 3000 BC, and they were wild jungle fowl. That's 5,000 years ago we began eating chickens. And about 900 years ago, the Chinese, 900 years BC, excuse me, 2,900 years ago, the Chinese began domesticating chickens. Of course, they were the first ones. They did everything first with food. And since that time, chickens have been around. They're a marvelous bird. They're very efficient, and they stand well on the food cycle because it doesn't take a lot of grain, you see, to manufacture a good chicken. So thanks to the Chinese, you and I can have some chicken dishes today. One of the things you need to remember when you buy chicken is that it's going to be cheaper to cut them up yourself. You'll save about 12 cents a pound. So let me show you what to do. Lay the old chicken down on his breast and cut the wing off first, you see, very quickly. You can cut up your own chicken. This is a boning knife I'm using. You see, it's a good grip on it. I don't want to slip and hurt myself. And then cut off the other wing. Now we'll go to the leg and thigh and just stroke down one side here. And the leg will tell you the thigh will tell you where it should come off. Now we'll bend, you see? There's the spot. There's the bone right there. Okay, now we'll do the other side. This doesn't take long. And for heaven's sakes, don't allow some kid in the supermarket to cut your chicken up for you. You know what happens? You open up the package, it says cut chicken, and you pay extra money for it. And when you get the thing home, you realize the kid cut it up on a bandsaw. That's no fair. Now, we have the legs and the wings removed. And we'll cut down. You see, this is the tail of the chicken here. This is the breast. Cut down this side and the other side. And then simply remove the breast. Get rid of the old back here. I usually use a Chinese cleaver for this, too. Works great. And this part of the chicken, we're going to want to put in our soup pot. Don't throw anything away. Just bend it. You see it comes right apart here, around the old neck. There we are. So we now have the back and tail, which we'll put in the soup pot. That's gone. And then we have the two breasts here, the chicken leg and the thigh. And the thigh is separated from the leg. Set it on its back, you see, so that you have it's a Y shape here. Put your knife in. The knife will know where to go. It'll simply find the spot very easily. You see? Remember that. It's easy to figure out where the thigh and the leg should be separated. If you'll set it down this way and just let the knife do the work. And it'll find the spot right away. There you are. That's all the pieces. Now let me show you how to get the breast off of the bone. The breastbone, you see, is the meat is very, very light and will dry if you're not careful with it. So generally I suggest that you leave the bones in the chicken because it'll keep the moisture in the bird. But if you want to make a boneless breast, then do it this way. Don't buy them at the market. They're too expensive. You need a very sharp knife, and I'm using a little paring knife that I keep very sharp. And I never let anybody touch this particular knife. This is my little stripping knife, you see. Keep it good and sharp. Now then, we will remove the breast thusly. Down the center, we're going to make a slit on the flesh on one side of the breastbone. You see the bone is right here. And then you begin pulling the meat away with your fingers and just stroking at it. You see? Just stroking at it. And it will come right off. It'll come right off the old bone. There we are. Here's the wishbone up here. See? And there's one all prepared. Doesn't take long, does it? You see? Now, if you want to strip the fat off of this, remember most of the fat in a chicken is in the skin. So just give it a yank, and that'll always come off unless you're watching. There it is. And here's an absolutely boneless breast. Lovely, lovely meat. The chicken is all set to go now. So let me show you some good dishes. Don't throw the chicken backs away. We want to save this for a good batch of chicken soup. Chicken soup. The Jews called it gilran yorek, golden yellow soup. Heavenly stuff. All right, first dish. This may sound a little strange to you, but it comes from Italy, and I want to stuff a chicken with potatoes. Don't say yuck. It's terrific. First of all, use good potatoes. Let me get rid of this poor chicken here. He should go on another platter. There he is. I've got chickens all over the place today. We want to use new potatoes or red potatoes. And this batch is a particularly small bunch, so what I pre-cooked these, you see, little new potatoes. You want to dice them up into about 4 or 5 pieces, or something this size. You see, if your chicken is, your potatoes are much larger, well, then cut them up into small pieces like so, you see. Put several in a bowl. So you have, I don't know what, I have about 3 cups there. That's what you'll need. And to that now, we're going to add some green olives. This is very Italian. It comes from the mountains in Italy. And I think it's just a lovely dish. We're going to dice up several green olives. These are stuffed ones, you notice. You ever see a stuffed olive stick his pimento out at you? Mine just did. All right, and we need some anchovies. And these anchovies, be careful with this oil because it'll get all over the place. But these lovely anchovies are very, very rich with salt and oil, so you have to kind of pat them a bit before you. I just want a couple here if I can get them out of the old jar. Gee, this worked great earlier. Now I'm having trouble. Isn't that the way, huh? Here we are. Okay. For the rest of the day, you'll smell like anchovy and garlic. The cat will love you. Marvelous. Chop up a couple of anchovies. Now, if you're trying to save money on this dish, that is to say you've decided that it's not terribly frugal to do this, then you can omit the anchovy. But I enjoy it. I'm going to chop up a couple of anchovies, about 3 of these, you see, and into the pot they go. There we are. And now we need to add some garlic. A couple of cloves of fresh garlic, and don't use instant. Remember that. Now, that's a basic rule in my kitchen. Garlic is a heavenly food. There's 1 big fat one, 2, and when you scrape off your garlic mill, be sure and use the back of your knife, never the blade, right? Never the sharp side, you see? Okay, let's continue now with potato stuffed chicken. What else do we need? We have the anchovies, and we need some capers. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of capers into our dish, and about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Good olive oil so that we can help flavor the potato. And we need some parsley. Here's a good clump here. I'm going to put in, 3 tablespoons, something like that. Once I chop it up. There we go. You see, I'm making, now the dish doesn't sound so strange to you, does it? Now that you see what all I have in this dressing. And we'll toss that. I want to give you that recipe again, too, as we're tossing this up here. I have 3 or 4 medium potatoes. These were small, so I put in many more than that. About 3 or 4 cups. 8 to 10 green olives, some parsley, some garlic, some anchovies, some capers. And now we want to add the herb that will make this absolutely heavenly, and that's rosemary. Rosemary. And I'm going to put in a good stiff pinch. You put it into your own flavor, huh? Let me show you what you have now. Look at a wooden spoon, and we'll stuff a bird with this. It's very simple. You might want to salt and pepper your chicken. Be sure and get rid of most of the fat here. It doesn't look bad. My mother, of course, would stand around and use a spoon to do this. And the lady I just saw in the supermarket would tell me I'm sloppy again. But your hand is really much better than any other device in the kitchen. There he is. Put him in a baking dish and bake him at about 375. Sit still there, fella. 375 for about, probably about an hour and 10 minutes should do the job. 70 minutes. You see, let me show you what you have. I have one in the oven for you. And he's really glorious. It's a very nice dish. We'll trade spots with him and take one out. You bring this to the table, and when you cut him up, there he is. Come on out of there. I'm going to put him right in the board here, and then I want to slice him in half and let you see what's going to appear on the table. There. Come here, friend. use a good knife, start the slit down the center here, and then you can just run it right on through, you see? And we need to, I tied the legs. And here he is. Look at the beautiful filling of potato, you see? Beautiful filling of potato and meat. And I'll put two of these on the, put them both on the platter here. I would probably cut these again into quarters and serve this with a little arrogance because I think it's a beautiful dish. Certainly needs some parsley though, doesn't it? That just looks awful. Put a little clump at each end and bring this to the table with some class. There we go. One chicken stuffed with rosemary, potatoes, anchovies, capers. Let's put him out in front here where you can get a good look at him. I wish you could smell this because he's just, it's a heavenly odor. There, all right. Now then, let's fry. Let's do another Italian dish. We're going to fry some chicken breasts in the style of a veal piccata. And veal is very, very expensive, but a nice chicken breast will do a good job for you, providing you don't cook it long. Don't overcook chicken breast because it'll dry out viciously. So we're going to make a veal piccata, a chicken piccata, and the term piccata simply means sharp. And we do that with lemon juice. We make a sharp flavor. So we have some pieces that I've already shown you here. The breast, you see, and let's get rid of the skin. We really don't need that. We'll get rid of the fat here and the skin all at once. Just pull it right off. And then we're going to pound the, let me get another one going here. And we're going to pound the pieces of meat with either a metal pounder, or you can sometimes use a wooden mallet. But I like the old metal jobber. I'll show you one. Just a second here. Chicken breasts are lovely things. If you pay for some other fellow to take them off the chicken for you, you're going to spend about $4 a pound, and that's a lot of money. But if you want to fix up your own, why, it's not going to be quite so costly. Get rid of the fat. There. And I'm going to save all of that fat and put it in my soup pot. There we go. Now we'll lay these out, and we're going to pound them thin. Get my pan going here. We're going to pound them thin with a meat pounder. And there are a couple of different kinds in the market. This one is imported by Waldo in Brooklyn, and it's very expensive, but it's a marvelous thing. It has a good way to grip, you see. It's solid brass. And you can just really whale the old. How do you like the racket? Isn't this fun? This is the sort of thing the kids love to do. There's one. Or here's one that you can find from a Rowoco company. And it's a little bit cheaper model at about $15. It works fine, too. But it isn't as glorious. Okay. That one's ready to go. And finally, if you don't want to invest in something that expensive, then I suggest, and I've showed you this once before, but this works just great. Put your chicken on a wax, between two rolls of wax paper, 2 sheets of wax paper, and use a 2x4. It's a little bit cheaper. See that flatten out? Isn't that marvelous? Nothing wrong with a 2x4. Just don't let your mother-in-law see you doing that. You know, she figures that things aren't going well in the household. Cooking with a 2x4 now, dear? Can you hear it? Oh, I love it. All right, my pan is hot. I want to flour the pieces of chicken. You could also dip this in egg if you prefer, but I don't want to bother. I don't want that much of a crust on this dish. And the Italians, of course, wouldn't do that with veal. You just flour it. And I'll get some olive oil in the pan. Did you notice I put my pan on first, on the heat? And I've not yet put any oil in it, because I want to put the oil in just as I put the food in. In that way, we'll not burn the oil. Okay, here we go. A little bit of olive oil, tablespoon or so. Oh, you can use peanut oil if you wish. But those are my 2 favorite cooking oils. And we'll fry these very, very quickly on one side. And then turn them just as they begin to brown. It'll probably take a couple of minutes on the side. I don't want them to be overdone, you see. I think I've made that point plain, haven't I? Made that clear to you? Don't overcook chicken breast. There we are. Oh, we need some pepper on that, too. There we go. A little bit of pepper. Now, we'll let those cook for just a moment on high heat. And in the meantime, let's prepare. I want to throw in a bit of additional flavoring into my chicken piccata. For that reason, I've sautéed for you a bit of green onion and yellow onion along with a bit of garlic. Just a tiny smidgen, you see? That's all you need. And I've cooked them ahead of time so I can just throw them into the pan at the right time. It'll work out just beautifully. Let's chop some parsley while our chicken piccata is finishing. There we go. And we'll need some lemon juice. Where's my lemon squeezer? Here it is. The lemon reamer. I've showed you this before. It's a great gimmick. You should have one of these. All right, we have everything ready to go. Time to turn them here. We don't want to overdo them. See how quickly they brown? That's terrific. All right, now, let me give you the recipe again. We have the breast, floured, a bit of pepper. If you insist, you can also put some salt in this. The olive oil, and we have lemon juice ready to go. We want everything ready to throw in the pan, you see. And we need some dry sherry, which we'll also throw in the pan, and perhaps a bit of chicken broth. And I've made my chicken broth earlier today out of the leftover backs that I had when I took down the chickens, took them apart, you see. Look at that go. We're ready to fly. All right, into our pan now. We're ready. The chicken, he said, oh, let's take it out here. I'm going to show you something else, too. I don't want to keep cooking the chicken in the sauce that I'm going to prepare right now, so let's deglaze the pan with a bit of sherry. Now, by deglazing, you see what I mean is I'm taking the drama's nice, too, isn't it, huh? I'm taking the brownness, the yummy brown color that we had in our chicken out of the pan thusly, getting it into a solution. Put in some lemon, our parsley, and a bit of the sautéed garlic and onion, green onion and yellow onion as well. Slosh that around a bit. There. Now I'll return my chicken to the pan, and we're going to add a bit of chicken broth, homemade, my own. And that will thicken now because of the flour that's on the chicken. Remember when we put the flour on? There it is. The dish is finished. You need a big frying pan like this with a metal handle so you can stick it in the oven and not worry about melting plastic handles. You don't need those ever. Okay, we're ready to put it on the platter here. It's a lovely dish. And we'll serve them thusly. Oh, terrific. And the sauce goes right over the top. Piccata, because it's very sharp. Isn't that clever, huh? Okay, we have another one ready to go. Chicken piccata. It's not terribly expensive if you cut up your own chicken. Otherwise, remember that you're going to be spending too much money on someone else doing your housework, and that's no fair. You do it yourself. All right, one more for you that's fun and easy to do, and I'm going to stuff some chicken thighs. Now, you steam them first, and after you steam the chicken thighs, I have some going here right now. After you steam a chicken thigh for about 15 or 20 minutes, you can get the bone out of the center. You see, here's the thigh. He's just been steamed, plain. Now, you have to work these are cold now, so it's going to be hard to do. But you want to work the bone out of the center by twisting the meat off of the end of the bone. There we are. There it comes. And then you just pull the bone right out of the old chicken. So you twist it a bit, and it'll come right out, leaving you with a kind of pocket affair. This just takes a little extra time to prepare, but it's great fun. You see what I have now? You see? Now, into that pocket, I'm going to insert a chunk of ham. Let me get what do we call it, a spear of ham and a chunk of green onion. This is really an old Chinese trick, and it's just delicious. Put the old green onion in here, you see? Stuff it right inside. And the ham goes alongside of it as well. Push it right in. There. And then they're cooked with the skin side up in a steamer, along with a bit of salt and pepper, and the ham and the onion will flavor them beautifully. And I'll show you what you have. I have several in the steamer already for you. Delicious dish. A little unusual, takes a few extra minutes to prepare, but when you bring it to the table, everyone thinks you're a genius. And that's part of the issue here, isn't it? Convincing them of the truth at last, that you really are a genius. I need another pot holder. Here they are. This dish is hot, but lovely. Oh, I'm going to set it right down right away. There you are. There you have one. A chicken thigh. We removed the bone and then steamed it first, then removed the bone and put a bit of onion and a bit of ham into it, a little bit of salt and pepper on top, put it back in the steamer. I threw in a slosh of white wine. just a splash of white wine, steam that for another 20 minutes, and it's ready to serve. Isn't that gorgeous? Let's do another one. You can go on and on and on with chickens. Well, how about some chicken strips? Now, chicken strips are a snap to make. All we're talking about here is a bit of chicken breast, and we're going to just cut it up into strips. And then we're going to fry it very quickly in a hot pan and deglaze the pan with a lovely Italian Marsala, which is a sweet, this is a sweet Marsala, a beautiful wine. So cut the chicken up into strips. That means it will cook very fast, you see, very rapidly. In this case, I'm leaving some of the skin on, unless it's terribly fatty. I have my pan heating now. I want you to remember that good cooking really shouldn't always take a long time. I've done 3 dishes for you already, but it's true, I had everything prepared ahead of time, but you get the idea. It doesn't take long at all. Oh, my towels are all over the place. In a good Italian restaurant, you know, you see the cooks running around. They always have a towel. Well, I'm left-handed, so I put mine on this side. But they always have a towel over their shoulder so that they're ready to go. When you're cooking with this much chicken, you should probably do the same thing. Into our pan, then, we'll put a little bit of cooking oil, olive oil or peanut oil preferably. You don't need much. Pan's good and hot, so we'll put in our chicken pieces now. And we'll saute them very rapidly. In the meantime, I'll put together a glaze for you. Let me get another paddle here. There we are. Chicken, chicken, chicken. My grandmother, Nettie Smith, used to buy stewing chickens because that's all the old girl could afford. And once a week, on Sunday, she would prepare chicken and noodles for the family. And in our time, you can't get a chicken that tastes that way. Do you know why? Because our chickens have never touched the ground. They're raised in baskets. They're stacked sky high. There must be 16 chickens in a row going straight up. And I don't know if they can talk to one another up and down, but it's a very complicated lifestyle. And they've never scratched the ground. So I think that's one of the reasons why they don't have any flavor at all. They don't get the chance to get outside, you see. Okay, let's put into our pan now a bit of garlic. Always garlic in my house, right? I love it. We can dice this up or you can crush it, whichever you prefer. Watch your fingers when you're dicing garlic. That's not funny. A little bit of garlic right into the pan. And I want to throw in a little bit of green onion as well. Just a smidgen. There it is. So we have onion, garlic, and chicken now in our pan. Cooking very nicely. I need some more lemon here for our close-down, and I'll get some marsala, and we're ready. Now, let me give you this recipe because I need to finish it in a hurry. I'll just flip it around once more, and it'll be done. We're pan-frying the chicken strips with a little garlic and green onions. You see they're doing nicely. We're going to saute that now for just a moment. Then we're going to deglaze the pan with a bit of lemon and marsala, and we'll be all set. Let's try a bit of pepper, huh? I love pepper. Pepper and green onion, heavenly flavor. Okay, there we are. And if you insist, I'll allow you 1 pinch of salt. But you're not going to need much salt in this dish because it has a lot of, we're going to put a lot of lemon juice in it. And lemon will help you get off the salt kick that you're on. You can get by. So there's a little bit of lemon, a shot of Marsala wine. A very nice Italian wine. It's a little bit sweet. Don't be frightened by the flame. When alcohol is flaming, you know, it's very, very light heat. Light heat? Well, it's very low temperature because alcohol turns to gas at a very low temperature and it doesn't have a chance to really get hot. Not like an oil fire. Okay, that one's done. Let's put it out here for you. They're stacking up, huh? More fun. There we are. I'm just going to pour it right on the old platter. I would make a big pot of this, you see, perhaps in my Chinese wok. And that doesn't look very attractive, does it? I'll tell you why. What we need to do is to garnish the thing with a bit of lemon so that everybody can have an additional shot of lemon on their chicken with marsala and lemon. There, that looks a little better, doesn't it, huh? Now, have another one for you. We can go on and on with chickens. Limes are expensive. Chicken is cheap. So when you put the two together, you get a balanced budget, and you can have a lovely dish of lime chicken. And it's so simple, and it's so delicious that it's just incredible. Let me show you what I mean. I have in the oven some chicken thighs and legs that I have baked with a tiny bit of thyme. tiny bit of time with some thyme on it. There's some thyme on the chicken, you see. A little bit of oil and some salt and pepper, a tiny bit of salt. What I'm going to do now is to slice up several limes and just throw them in the pan. And I'll bring this to the table hot. The limes, of course, will be fresh and cool. And the idea is to squish lime juice just all over your chicken. So you have a lime chicken dish. There we are. And you just each person can do it themselves, or you can do it for them. In any case, it's a colossal dish. There it is, lime chicken. Oh, isn't lime a lovely flavor? My hands smell good, the chicken smells good. I'll put this one out for you too. And we'll go through these recipes. It's just delicious. I have what do I have? I have 5 dishes here for you today. Beginning with the lime chicken. So simple. Remember, just bake your chicken until tender, 45, 50 minutes in the open pan, you see. A little thyme on it, and then I just put lime juice on it, right at the table. The stuffed Italian chicken, stuffed with potatoes, very delicious dish, easy to make, and it's not at all expensive. The piccata is called piccata because it's sharp with lemon juice. You can also throw in some capers. That's heavenly. Capers would be great with that. We have a stuffed chicken thigh over here that we've put some ham and some green onion in the thigh. And finally, our chicken strips are cooked down with a bit of marsala. There you have chicken. I'm glad I don't have to decide which one of these chickens I like best. Do you know how the chicken got to the New World? He appeared in Western Europe 600 BC, and he arrived in this country, in America, on the decks of Christopher Columbus's ship. Can you imagine the mess? Chickens all over the place and people coming to the New World. But he brought us a good thing, the good old chicken. I'm glad we could be together today. This is the Frugal Gourmet. I bid you peace.